Here we go, Freddies. So we're going to talk about maximum and minimum values of polynomials, okay? We've learned in quadratics, when we're working with quadratics, what a max and a min is, right? Your maximum is your highest point, right? Your mountain, right? Your minimum is your lowest point, the valley, right? Our mountains and our valleys, okay? So with that in mind, we're separating them between relative max and min. And so relative maximum is the point on the graph which have a maximum y values, okay? So a relative maximum is just basically asking, when does your graph increase and then it decreases? Does that make sense? It's not saying it's your highest, it's just saying, when does it increase, then it decrease. Okay. Your relative minimum is the point on the graph which has a minimum y values or second coordinates relative to the points close to them, okay? So it's low, close to the points that it's around. But again, in general, we're saying, when do you decrease and then you increase, okay? So relative max is your increase, then your decrease. Relative min is your decrease, then your increase, okay? All right, so that's the gist of it. That's all you had to write in there. Okay, now we're going to talk about absolute max and min. When you're referring to absolute maximum and min, it is the point on the graph which has the largest value of y. So what is your absolute highest y value, okay? That's what it's asking when it's saying absolute maximum min. Sometimes it's called your global, depending on your teacher, whatever. Okay, your absolute minimum is the point on the graph which has the smallest value of y. Okay, when you are asking for absolute max and min or relative max and min, it is referring to your value of y. Okay, when it says the second coordinate, that means sometimes your graph may not be x's and y's, right? It may be representing profit and loss or something like that. But just remember, it's the dependent value that you're giving me. Okay. All right, important points you need to know to graph and be able to find on a graph. Your x and y intercepts, right? We can do that, x and y intercepts. The coordinates of your maximum and your minimum, and other specific points that may be your integer points that help you draw a better graph, okay? So we're going to be using our calculator to find the max and the min. In order to find the max and min in our calculator, we graph, and then we're going to be using the second trace. Now, I want you to remember, before you start using the calculator, what should we do first? We want to clear it. So we're going to press second plus 712, so that anything that anyone else has been doing is no longer affecting me on the graph. Okay? And then we're going to navigate from left to right. All right. Are we ready to do some calculating? Ready or not? Here we go. Okay. So let's practice. So our first example that we're going to do, we have P of x equals 3x squared minus x plus 7. So we're going to put that in the calculator. We're putting 3x. I'm going to turn on my calculator. I'm going to second plus 712. And we're going to type in 3x squared minus x plus 7. I'm going to hit graph. And it draws my parabola. Did you get a parabola? Yes. Okay. So on here, if I want to move it down or zoom up or zoom out, could I do that? Yes. Is it really necessary? No, because all I'm asking for is what is my max or my min, right? I am going to zoom. I'm not going to zoom. I'm going to shuffle it down a little bit. So to change where it's at, so instead of having my y up so high, I can move it down. So I'm going to change my y values. So my y min, I'm going to leave alone, but my max, I'm going to put it like 20. And it doesn't matter what you count by, but all it's going to do is bring it down so I can see a bigger. Okay, so all I did was go to window and I changed my maximum value of my y to 20. So that I can just see more graph. So as we can see, this parabola is just going on forever, right? It's going to keep going forever, up, 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 up. Okay, but what we're going to do is we need to find where is it max or it's max or min. Is it say max or min? This is a min. We decrease, then we increase. So we're going to press second trace like it says in your notes. And we're going to go to minimum. Second trace, minimum. We see minimum. Yeah. So I'm going to press 3. And it's going to give me my little spider. The spider is telling me to go to the left. So I'm going to click to the left of my minimum. The little clicky blinky guy, the little blinker. And I'm going to press enter. And now he's going to say go to the right. So I'm going to move to the right of my minimum. It doesn't matter how far you go. You don't have to go too far. Just make sure you go left and go right of it. Press enter. And he's like, so you want me to find the answer in between here? And I'm like, yes, I do. All right. So then he's going to guess for me. And he says, ta-da, here's your minimum. Okay. So let's do it again. I went second trace. I'm selecting minimum. My little spider comes up. He says, go left bound. So I'm going to move to the left of it and press enter. Then he says, go right bound. I'm going to move to the right of it and press enter. He's like, so this is where you want me to look at? And I'm like, yeah. I'm going to press enter. And he says, cool. Here's your minimum. Yes. So we're going to round it to the nearest 3 decimal places. So we're at 0.167. Yeah. Okay. So my minimum point is at 0.167, comma, 6.917. Okay. So that means that my minimum value, my min value is 6.917. Okay. Then it says your interval of increase and decrease. So as I read the graph, starting from left to right, I'm starting from the left, which is from negative infinity, right? So from negative infinity up until 0.167, what am I doing? I'm dropping. So that's a decrease. So we decrease, parentheses, from negative infinity until 167 thousandths. Okay. We're using our x values to say where we're increasing and decreasing. I'll come and look at yours. I don't know what you typed in. Okay. So then now my interval of decrease is done. Now we're into our interval of increase. Okay. Now I start increasing here, right? So I now start at 0.167 and I continue to infinity. All right, so guys, what do we get here for our max point? Okay, we were at 1 and 3. Our max value is what? 3. Okay. What was our interval of increase? Perfect. Your intervals depend on your x. Okay. And then where were we decreasing? 1 to infinity. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Your max value is your y, but your intervals of increase and decrease depend on your x. Got it? All right. So here we have 2x, negative 2x cubed, plus 7x squared minus 3x, okay? This one, we're going to graph and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go to my graph. If I can go to the graph. And I'm going to type in negative 2x to the third plus, be careful when you're putting it in, make sure you arrow over so it makes a large plus, 7x squared minus 3x. And I'm going to hit graph. So when this graphs, notice that now I have a valley and a mountain, right? Yes. So that means I have to do this twice. I have to find a minimum point and a maximum point. Does that make sense? I have 2 now. So I have a min point and a max point. So I'm going to have to do it twice. So I need to find my min. So I'm going to still press second trace, and I'm doing minimum. I'm going to go to the left of my minimum, press enter, go to the right of my minimum, press enter again. It's like, okay, got you. And it's going to give me a value. So I'm at 2 and, no, I wrote the 239, make it 39 thousandths, comma, negative 344. Okay. Then I'm going to find my max point. So again, this time second trace. Now we're going to max. So we're going to go to the left of it. Then I'm going to go over to the right of it. Press enter. Yeah, I want you to guess. I don't know why it's like, are you sure? And then so we get 2. 2 and 95 thousandths, comma 6 and 48 thousandths. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Min, max. Yes. Okay. Yep. All right. So then I guess we'll have to pick it up. But now you have everything to do. So you can say, this is my minimum value. This is my max value, right? So my increase and decrease. So from negative infinity up until this point, I am doing what? Decreasing. So from negative infinity until 239, I am decreasing. It wasn't on there? And then from 239 to what's my next x value? Yep. So then from there, so from 239 thousandths to 295 thousandths, what is happening? It's going to be an increase. And then from there to positive infinity, what am I doing? Decrease. So it's 3. So this, I have 3 intervals. Yeah. It's going to be a decrease. Okay. When it's 2.095. Mhm.